Hey friends, and welcome to Using Wonders or Maravillas virtually, given what's happening right now with the coronavirus. We know that many schools or districts or even whole states are closing schools, but yet we need ways to still reach out to our students virtually or digitally. And or maybe it's just about finding resources that you can send home pencil paper, and that's okay too. My name's Brandon Harvey, National Literacy Specialist with McGraw-Hill Education, and we are going to kind of dive into looking at how to find resources to print for students for a week or 2 weeks or multiple weeks. But also, those of you who do have students that, number one, have access and perhaps devices at home, this would also be useful for you as well. Now, I am logged in as a fourth grade classroom teacher here, but please know that this works for Wonders, for Maravillas, kindergarten all the way through sixth grade. All of the buttons, all of the sort of way we go about finding things and the click path is going to all be the same. So let's start if you're just needing to go log in to your teacher account and find resources very quickly. So one of the things you can see is that I'm logged in here. My calendar is at Unit 5, Week 4. Well, maybe I want to go and choose some resources to send home to review. So I'm going to go maybe back to a previous unit and week. So I can click into Unit and choose a week wherever it is that I need to go. And here I am at Unit 4, Week 1. Now, from this home screen, you can clearly see your printables. Now, it does not matter whether you're using Wonders 2014 or version Wonders 2017 or Wonders version 2020. You will see your printables here. They may look a little different depending on the version, but you will have printables here. So I could very easily, if all I need to do is print things, I can click here on the printer icon. And there I can see, for example, here are all of my spelling pages. Now, as a teacher, I can download these. I could go to File and Print and send these home as maybe some practice pages to do as they are at home away from school. Or, of course, you can download and then attach them in an email. So if you have parents or guardians' emails, maybe even your students have an email account, you could send via email with a message to complete these resources. So again, I can choose the printer icon on any of these printables. Also, over here on the cog or the wheel, for example, if I go to this practice book page, I can send home the original format. So I can, again, open original format. That's going to be that same PDF version that you saw. Now, what if I need multiple weeks? So remember, I could come up here. I could say, okay, there's week 1, and then maybe I go to Unit 4, week 2. And so now I'm looking at the next week's set of materials. All of my printables here for that week have switched over. So it's a really easy way using these drop-down menus to change unit and week to find printables that would go with that particular week. Now, at the same time, what you'll also notice is changing on your screen down here are the games and the activities. Now, of course, you would have to have digital internet access and a device, but same sort of thing. Notice that each game sits in its own little box there, and you could click on that wheel or that cog and again click assign this resource. Those of you teachers who might also use Google Classroom, you could share these resources via Google Classroom. Now, this really is a great way to find things very quickly and easily. You could do the same thing by coming over here to your resource library. And now I'm here in my resource library for this particular unit and week. I can see things that are in my slideshow. Again, I could, with one click, share or assign these resources here. So even if it's pages from a text or a simple graphic organizer or a background video, I could simply find those very quickly and share those as well to sort of do some instruction digitally. So you may want to, if you are assigning these things, you could assign them in a certain order where they're going to read the essential question and talk about it maybe with a family member. Then they're going to watch that background video. Maybe you're going to have them do a little journal activity. You could create assignments that could be done digitally. Same thing here. As I scroll down, you have access to all of your ebooks, and it could be as simple as assigning a literature anthology text, or kindergarten, first grade, maybe assigning a big book for students to listen to. Same thing with your leveled readers. So here, again, it's a little more open because these are all of the resources for the whole curriculum, but you can use your unit and week drop downs here to sort of focus in and find things that are particular to that unit and that week of instruction. Now, let's talk about assigning something. So, for example, I'm already here. I'm going to go to my student practice pages. And I just want to throw out some ideas. I know that some teachers are doing maybe some choice boards where they're going to maybe have a list. They're going to send a list home of different items that students could choose to do, different games and activities. You also have, for your younger students, I've heard teachers creating bingo cards where the kids maybe can again have some choice in what they do, and there's different activities on the bingo card that they have to maybe log on and find and do. So that again is a way to use digital in a very creative way. So for example, if I know I want to send home some grammar practice, so I'm going to find my grammar reproducibles here. And then I'm going to, like I said, I'm on unit, unit 4 here, week 2. So I'm going to find my unit 4, week 2. It's all organized by unit and week. I could have also used my drop down there as well. But here it is. And now I'm going to assign. So this is assuming that your students have internet access, have a login for ConnectEd, and that you have your classroom rostered. So if you go to assign things like I'm doing right now, and if you were to scroll down here from the assignment manager and you did not see your class list here, this would not be possible. I would encourage you to find on our McGraw-Hill website. We're going to have additional videos or support pieces, tutorials on how to roster your students if you don't have that sort of self-rostering done at a district level, and how to assign that content and get your students online to use the digital. But I have my class roster here, so I've got my grammar practice. I'm going to give it a name. I'm just going to call it grammar. Here you would want to give instructions. Please review and complete these pages. If I want to, sort of assign them, but also have a back and forth with students, I can. This is also very interesting. Anytime you assign anything, whether it's a practice page or a leveled reader or a decodable text, you could turn the student recorder on, and that would be another great interaction where students record their voice reading something that they've done or reading a piece of text. Now, it's going to only record probably about a minute at a time, but it could be a great way to have a little fluency check or just to hear students reading a passage or a page. All right, I'm going to assign this to all of my students. I could choose specific students to get certain assignments at different differentiated levels, but I'm just going to say all, so it checks all of them. I'm going to scroll down. Oh, by the way, you can say when the assignment starts and when it's due. So if you want to make multiple assignments that are going to go across a week, or multiple assignments that may appear over several weeks, depending on how long you might be out of school. Depending on how long you're out of school, this could be helpful too. So I'm just going to go ahead and have that assignment start today. I'm going to scroll down and then hit assign. All right, so now that I've made that assignment, I want to jump over to another browser where I'm logged in as a student from my class. So here I am on my grade 4. Again, this would look very similar, kindergarten through 6th grade, English or Spanish. The students have access to their resources. So like I said, if you want to do a choice board or maybe a bingo card board where they're going to go find different resources, games, activities, stories to read, you've got, they have access to all of their resources here. But you can see here that the assignment I sent, once the students log on, they'll see a little number 1, right? That's their to-do. There's their to-do list. So let's take a look at this grammar assignment. So here we are, and I, as a student, would come and click to open my assignment. I, of course, could print these pages out if I needed to, but I'm going to be able, like I said, do them digitally because this is assuming that students have internet access and a device. And so here we are going to have to read the sentence and circle the pronoun. So I've got a circle tool, right? Can use my circle tool and use that to circle. I've also got underline, box, highlighter. I've also got a typing tool because it says write an O for object or S for subject pronoun. And I would come over here, making sure that it's the right size there, and put that on to their page. Again, and then down here in the bottom right-hand corner, there are multiple pages, right? Because I sent the entire week's worth of grammar practice. And so all of those practice pages are here. If you want only to do certain pages, you don't need them to do all of them. Let me just minimize this. You can see there are page numbers assigned. And so you could say, oh, just do, pages 81, 82, and 83. Or you may, again, that's why putting those instructions in your assignment are so critical. Once students have done, of course, they need to come down here to the bottom right and hit save. This is going to save to their assignment that they've been sent, but also it's going to save in their work in their quote-unquote virtual binder. So I'm going to close this. I can see it's saved. I can write a note to my teacher. This was an easy assignment, or I was able to complete all of them, but I had a question about. So again, sort of some communication there. Also, I just want to remind you, rather than clicking open, if the student needed to print this, right, they can click on the cog or the wheel just like a teacher would, and they would open in original format, and that's where they could print this assignment. But I've done it virtually, assuming, right, that I did all that work, and then I would submit it. I would hit submit, and it would go back to my teacher. Okay, so now I'm back over at my teacher side, and if I come over here to manage and assign, and I go to my assignment manager, we should be able to see that grammar practice. And again, I can open this up. I can see which students have submitted. I know 1 of 50. Of course, it's just that one demo student that I went into. And then I could view their submission. And so here is what the student wrote back to me. If I want to comment back to them, I could have that back and forth. I could mark as completed and save it. If it's not completed, right, because I might be sending it back to them. So there's a little return button. So if I have notes to them, I could do that. I can also open up, right, their actual work. So let's click on the little icon there. And you can see there's where I circled, and again, if I as a teacher wanted to come in and maybe just type a note, hey, great job. Okay, I could do that, and then I could save that, and again, I could send that back to them so they would know that I had seen the work as well. If I don't need that back and forth, I could just mark as completed and hit save. Thank you so much for your attention to this brief video on how to use the Wonders and Maravillas kindergarten through 6th grade materials virtually. Again, hopefully you've seen that you can easily print and send home any of the PDF resources. Again, you can go from your weekly printables or from your resource library to get graphic organizers or additional supplemental resources. Don't forget, if your students do have internet access and you have them registered in your class, you can send and receive assignments. Or even if you just want to have a choice board and have students log on, play different games and activities, review stories, reading stories that have been previously taught, or maybe just letting them have free choice to have some independent reading time, a way to keep up their skills. Because we know that instruction stalls a little bit when we're not there in person, but this is a great way to sort of keep up their skills virtually. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day. Everybody keep washing your hands. We will get through this together. And keep in touch with the McGraw-Hill website for additional resources and information regarding all of McGraw-Hill's subject area resources, kindergarten through 12th grade, Also, tips for teachers and information for parents as well will be continuously updated and posted. Thanks so much and have a great day. Hi everyone, Bowtie Brandon here, coming to you from my kitchen. Some of you, or maybe some of your students, you might recognize me from the phonics and grammar songs and dances that are in the Wonders curriculum. But I'm also a National Literacy Specialist with McGraw-Hill Education. And this is a video that is specifically geared for you, the students who use the Wonders Reading Language Arts materials at school, or you might use the Spanish Maravillas materials for dual language or bilingual. And I want to really show you what you can do, and also for you, the parents, how you can support your young scholars with the digital resources there as we are at home learning or doing some virtual learning. Use the Wonders and Maravillas resources to review, to read books, to continue to keep their skills up to date through games and vocabulary and text that they may read. But also, I just want to let parents know that in these times with your students at home, just some tips. Maybe create structure for sort of a virtual or at-home school day, making sure there's time for reading and writing, conversations. Make sure you're talking to your young learners. Also, maybe some math time or science and social studies time as well. And of course, including time for play. And maybe try limiting screen time during these school days at home. But this video is really going to be to support that online platform. So there'll be an overview first following this, and then you will see a series of shorter videos that really focus in on different aspects of the online dashboard, like vocabulary or the games that students can play. Also be aware that McGraw-Hill has a website set up for parents and for teachers as well. Right here you can see the web address here above me, mheonline.com/remote learning. So let's go ahead and get started, and let's learn how we can best utilize our digital resources at home with Wonders and Maravillas. Thanks so much. Here we go. Okay, hi everyone. Here is our big broad overview for you guys that are students that use Wonders in your classrooms for reading language arts, and also those of you that are parents. This is your students' dashboard, and this is where they can come here each day while they're at home and do a few activities to keep up their literacy and reading skills. So let's just talk in very broad terms, and then we'll have some additional shorter videos. First of all, it doesn't matter. I'm logged in as a 4th grade student, but your dashboard may look a little different, might have a different picture. That's okay. Doesn't matter. Kindergarten through 6th grade. Also, I'm logged in under Wonders, but if you're logged in under Maravillas for Spanish, that's okay too. You'll still see these same icons and these same things across the top. So let's just really quickly run through this. You have a to-do list, which is where if your teacher is sending you assignments each day, that you would find them there. You would know you have an assignment because you'd see a little number 1 or number 2 there. Then you've got your words to know. When you click on this, this is where you're going to find all that great vocabulary, and we'll do a video on this, but again, just being able to say these words, spell these words. You can click into each one of them and really get the definition of the word, examples of the word, and there's some activities. So that's words to know that you can check in on. Under the writing little icon here, this again may look a little different depending on which grade level you're in, but you've got some computer literacy lessons that you could do. Also, if those of you that are in grades 2 through 6, you may have, if you click under workshop, you'll have all these different types of writing that would be great practice for you to do, whether you want to do an opinion, a personal narrative, a letter, a book review. It looks like we've got several pages of research reports, things that you could do as some writing practice, which would be awesome. Okay, let's go over here. Next, you'll see games. When you click here, these would be the games that are connected for this essential question and this week of instruction here. So you have grammar and phonics and vocabulary. Again, it may look a little different depending on your grade level, but all you have to do is you can click on this icon and you can play some of these games. And then finally, you have this last tab here that we're going to go through, which is read. This is where you're going to see any connected stories or texts or leveled readers that go with this particular essential question. So you've got your reads there that would be great for you to read. And you know what's really neat too is that all of these stories that you could pick up, even though they're different, all are going to be around the same essential question. They're going to have that same vocabulary that's under the words to know. So they're all really sort of connected, even though they are different stories. And that would be great. You know, parents, if you're listening to this, that's probably the number one thing I could recommend is just making sure your kids are reading. I don't, reading from here, the newspaper, magazines, articles. Just important that kids are having some reading time each day. As we go up, there's a couple other things here. Under the school to home connection here, you're going to see a parent letter that is connected to this particular week. But what I really want to show you is over here is you actually have some additional at-home activities that are great to do if you're doing some virtual learning, and since we're at home now, you've got a word workout, which will be word activities with vocabulary and spelling, and then a comprehension check over the particular comprehension skill. And here in my letter I can see what the word workout's going to be about and our comprehension activities on sequence of events. So those would be great for you to click onto as well. Under the next tab up here at the top, you see resources. This is where you can get into any resources. This is where I just encourage you, if you want to just go into your books and find a story that you've already read before in class, you can go back and reread it. Or if you want to read maybe a leveled reader, or we even have additional student reads, that would be great opportunities. One of the things I love that would be fun to do at home would be a reader's theater. If you've got multiple people in your household, then everybody take a part and y'all could perform a play. How fun would that be? You have access to all of your games and your practice pages. Another thing I think that would be really positive and a way to sort of integrate and to do reading and science and social studies all together are through our research and inquiry projects here. So I click on that and I can look at the projects. Interview a classmate. There are all kinds of different projects that you could click into and get into, and so we'll go a little deeper into that in one of our other videos. But again, lots of different things here under the resources. So hopefully this has been just a very broad overview of all the things you can click around and click into on your Wonders dashboard. Please join me for the next series of videos where we'll talk more in depth about vocabulary, games, reading, and writing. All right, thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey everyone, it's Brandon here, and this video is going to really just focus in on your to-do list. So your to-do list is here if your teacher is sending you assignments and things to practice and do while you're at home digitally. I know my teacher has sent me something because I see a 3 right here. So I know that I have 3 things on my to-do list. So I'm going to click on that. To do. And let's see what my teacher has sent me. So the teacher has sent me some practice pages, a read aloud, and a review game. Now remember that you may need a parent or older adult or sibling to help you read some of these instructions. Make sure you understand what it is you need to do. So it says practice pages. Please read the directions carefully and complete the practice pages to review my skills. Please try to complete on your own, but ask an adult if you have questions. So as a student, as a first grader or a kindergartner here, I would click right here where it shows me my practice pages, or if I want to do them pencil paper, I can click on this wheel or cog, and if I need to have an adult or someone else help me, I can do that. Have them help me and open up the original format. The original format is going to be a PDF. And so what I see here, I see all 12 of my practice pages for the week. And I see things like high frequency words and vocabulary practice. And all I need to do is, because it's a PDF, click on the little printer icon. Mine happens to be over here in the right hand corner, or I can go up to File, Print. Make sure you ask an adult before printing these out. Now, if you are able or want to do them digitally, maybe you're used to doing these assignments from your teacher digitally, you can simply click on it. It will open up in this sort of interactive box here with the gray sides on it. And I click on T for type. I also have a circle icon because, for example, this might tell me to circle the words that name the picture. So I'm going to, obviously, I want to make sure I read all the directions carefully and then follow and do exactly as it's telling me to do. So I need to read the words, listen for the sounds at the end of fur. Okay, listen for the sound at the end of fur, which is the sound, and circle the word that names the picture. Okay, so I'm going to use my circle here, wide or worm. I think I'm going to go with worm. Okay, we have bed or bird. Circle the word that names the picture. I'm pretty sure it's going to be bird. Shirt or show. So again, you can see exactly what I'm doing. Sun or surf. As well as being able to come down here. If I need to make it a little smaller, I can hit the minus sign, right? And I can use my hand tool to move the page. Then I can zoom in again a little bit if I need to move it up. And then here I'm going to be typing, or I could use my pencil tool. There is a blank at my school. Is it a nurse, a her, a skirt, or a work? I'm pretty sure it's a nurse. And so I could really practice my handwriting here, doing it this way, right? Making sure I spell correctly, making sure that I'm putting a good space between each letter. All right. Not too bad there, right? Or if I didn't want to do my pencil tool, and if it was a typing tool, I could use T for type. Once I do my work, I always want to make sure I save it, because that's going to save to my assignments and to my binder. But then again, I can use my arrow to go to the next bit of work here. Use my hand tool to move it down. All right, so that's how I could do my assignments. And then once I've got all of those pages done and I've saved it all, I can hit submit and it will go back to my teacher digitally. If I come here to my read aloud, listen to the read aloud, discuss with a parent, and try to retell the story in my own words. So this is kind of activity that's going to be multi-step, right? I'm going to listen to the story. I'm going to be wanting to retell it. So here I would click on
Why the Sun and Moon Are in the Sky, a retelling of a Nigerian folktale. How do you think the sun and moon got into the sky? This folktale offers an explanation. Long, long ago, the sun and moon lived on Earth and shared a home on top of a hill.
So again, I'm not going to listen to that all with you right now on this video, but you get the idea that you could go through and you could click play on each of these storyboards or each of these 4 cards, listening to the story. Let's see, what did my teacher want me to do? Listen to the story, discuss it, retell it, and then talk to someone about it. You know, another great activity that I could do is always get in the habit of writing about what I read about. And that may mean drawing pictures, writing words, maybe even sentences. And then finally, we got a review game. So here is a review game. Practice your phonics blending. Okay, so what's really great about this is that my teacher has also asked me to make a recording. So I could play this and I could record myself doing these blends. So if your teacher assigns the audio recorder feature, I'm going to hit record. Okay, so now I've got it recording, and I could go k, ch, So again, I could then scroll down and go to the next word. So it's recording everything that I do, and when I'm done, I hit finish. I could listen to it, I could redo it, or I could just simply attach that recording so that my teacher would get my recording. Pretty cool. So always remember that you have the opportunity to play those games. That's a great review of some phonics blends. So that has been just a quick video of using the to-do list, right? And making sure I'm doing my assignments. Check out my next video where we're going to talk about words to know. Hi friends. So this video is for our young learners if you're in kindergarten, first, second grade, and we're going to talk about words to know. And so you can click on this icon. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm logged in under kindergarten this time. So again, it doesn't matter kindergarten, first or second grade. But our words to know here on this particular week, I see I've got my oral vocabulary words. These are big words, right, that are in our story that would be great. And then on the other side here, you're going to see what we call our high frequency words. These are words that are really important for us to say. We should be reading these words. We should spell these words. We should be practicing writing these words. So if you're at home, I would encourage you to, when you click on here, with these words, these are a little bit bigger. It's okay if you don't know how to say them because it's more oral vocabulary, but when you click into it, you're going to see you have audio support, so it's going to give you the word and use it in a sentence, but then also some of the words might even have video, like this one for environment.
Environment. Trees and air are part of the environment.
And again, I could click onto that video, but the other thing that's really exciting is the routine here. So you have what we call define, example, ask. And again, because these are big words and you may not be able to read the sentence, you have the audio support where it's going to read the definition. The environment is everything around us: people, plants, animals, air, water, and soil. It gives us what we need to stay alive. And then the example is like we saw on the front side of the card. Remember this example where it said trees and air are part of the environment. And then here's what's really great is that it's going to ask you a question. Do you know any groups that help the environment? What are their names? So that would be a great question to discuss with anybody that's at home with you and to think about. So there will always be an ask with each one of your vocabulary words. And so if we go back here, you can do that for all of these different words. And then remember over here with our high frequency words, what are we going to do? We're going to do our read, spell, write routine. And we can also click on these words as well, and we'll have a visual. You have the audio support as well as the routine here as well, and there's where you're going to see that read, spell, write routine. So encourage you to make sure you do that through all of your words. And the other great thing is that once you do words to know, when you get over to the games, you'll see there'll be some games that'll allow you to practice using those words to know. All right, thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day. Hey there friends, thanks for joining me on this quick video. This one's going to focus on the games icon, and again I happen to be logged into second grade, but it doesn't matter if you're kindergarten, first grade, you will have a games icon here, and you want to click on that and you're going to see the games for your particular week of instruction. You'll have high frequency word games, phonemic awareness and phonics games, which is really important to practice sounding out and building and blending those words together. You have some word builders, retelling, spelling, vocabulary, all sorts of games and activities. And again, you may have more than what I'm showing here. You may have less. That's okay. It may just depend on your particular grade level. But for example, I know that at all grade levels, kindergarten, first and second grade, we're going to have a high frequency word activity game. Let's take a look at this one. So you have the ability to have the speaker play the directions. If you need help reading those directions, read the word, listen to the word and its spelling and how it's used in a sentence by selecting the speaker buttons. Okay, so If I need to hear this word, I can click on it for the word.
Ago.
Ago. Okay, how do we spell ago? So I'm going to click on this speaker.
A-G-O.
And then if I want to hear it used in a sentence, I could click on the last speaker here.
Max visited 5 days ago.
Awesome. And then I want to practice spelling that as well. So when I click my cursor down here on my sentence strip, I get a blinking cursor and I can type ago, A-G-O. So again, make sure with all of your vocabulary words here, even your high frequency words, you follow that routine of the read it, spell it, and write it. So that's just an example of how to play one of those games. And you have so many other games, and it would be really great if each day while you're at home you get online and play 2 or 3 games. That would be awesome. So hopefully you will enjoy playing some of these games. Now if you want to go further and you're really into it, you can come up here, click on this word right here that says resources. And when you do that, you can actually find the section that's called games. Here, this second grade has like 700 some odd games, and so you could choose different types of games, whether you want a grammar game or a phonics game or a spelling game, and you could choose those games to play. And they may be things that you've already played before. That's okay. That's a great review. Or maybe it's going to be some new learning, so that would be all right as well. So again, you have the games that are there in the resources, but also the games that are here under this tab. All right, good luck, and join me for our next video, which will be on reading. Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another video. This one's going to focus on the read icon. And again, your screen may look a little different, have different pictures. That's okay. I'm logged in under the first grade student dashboard for this video. And we're going to focus on the read icon. And remember that with all of these words to know games or things that we're reading, when you click on these buttons, they're going to be tied to our weekly concept and our essential question that you see down here at the bottom. So this one happens to be about great inventions and what inventions do we know about. And so I would click on the read icon. Yep. And here I can see this week's reads. I see a story of the robot inventor. I've got a leveled reader here, some differentiated readings, my decodable reads, which are great. Make sure you're reading your decodable stories to practice and apply your phonics skills. As well as a paired selection. Here we've got a little story on Thomas Edison, and even a little take-home story that you could print and practice. So with all of these different reads, right, they're all going to center around inventors or inventions, as well as practicing those skills for the week. So you could click into them, and let's just do that. Let's go ahead and click into one of our stories. How about this Thomas Edison story? Okay, so I have my selection here open up. This comes out of my literature anthology. I can see the same essential question, and I also see speaker icons. So you have audio. So if you want to have this story read aloud to you, you can. You'll even see on the front page of each of your selections this little button here that has a summary. And this summary is not only, you have of course just a summary of the story in English, but hey, look at this. If you speak a different language at home, you have the summary in multiple languages. Also, you can use the arrows on the side of the page to turn the page of the book. And as you turn the page, you'll still see those audio icons that you can click on to have the story read to you. Also, you'll notice that as you click through the book, you'll always have some fun tools up here at the top, such as a highlighter tool, a pen tool, notes. So if you like to make little sticky notes about what you're thinking about as you read, that's a great way to sort of track your thinking. Now, let's go to the end of the story. So here we are at the end of the story, and you can meet the author. Also, this is really great too. Parents, if you're watching this video, at the end of each selection there's sort of a respond to the text, a way to retell the story or summarize the story. You've got a graphic organizer here. Students could do this in a journal or on a piece of paper. Also, they can write about the story. That's a great habit. And no matter what you're reading, developing a habit of always writing about what you read about is a really good habit of learning. And there's some good sentence starters there. And then you can even reflect back on the essential question and how that ties into the story. So again, lots of interactive things to do as you are reading the text. And if you want to read other stories that maybe your teacher or you have done in the past, maybe from the beginning of the year, you could do that too. You could go to My Books. You can go to my all your leveled readers. You have even additional student reads, all your decodables, or Reader's Theater. That's a wonderful tool to do to really have some engagement with other people maybe in the household. Y'all could put on a play, as well as Time for Kids articles. These are nonfiction sort of online articles which would be really fun and engaging for students to read as well. So you have a lot of different things you could read, whether it's the big books, leveled readers, anthology selections. Those are all right here available to read. So thank you guys so much. Keep at it. Make sure you're reading a little bit every day, writing about what you read about, and that's a great way to maintain and keep up your skills. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.